friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here for a little bit of a story time and review of After the Woods by Kim Savage. The reason why I want to include a story time with this is actually an author's copy that I received from Kim Savage herself, and I wanted to tell you the little bit of story behind it because I thought it was interesting. Everybody that I tell, like in my life, like at work or at home, they think it's a very interesting story and they thought I should share it with you, so that's what I'm here to do. So back in about a year ago, October or November of 2015, I started researching on Goodreads and like through Google and blogs and different sources to look for new and upcoming authors, like debut authors that were going to debut in 2016. And I was just looking randomly, like I said, different places, people that I talked to, and just looking through like all my sources, and I compiled a list of 10 debuts that I was really looking forward to. And one of those, of course, happened to be After the Woods by Kim Savage. There were some other ones on the list as well. I'm going to link my blog post that I'm about to tell you that shows you 10 debuts that I was really looking forward to down in the description box, so you can check that out. I researched in October, November of last year, and then in December I made that post on my blog post, and it was a top 10 Tuesday post where I posted 10 debuts that I was really looking forward to in the new year. And of course, I think number one of that list was After the Woods by Kim Savage. The first thing that drew me into the book was the cover, because I can't even explain how beautiful the cover is. It looks so much prettier in person than it ever does in pictures. But it's really gorgeous. It's just so pretty. It's so aesthetic. But I really liked it. But I liked the cover and I liked the story. I liked the synopsis that I read about it. And I do like supporting debut authors because, you know, I think there's lots of us out there that are aspiring authors, or, you know, we want to be writers, we want to be published. And, you know, so I like supporting those debuts and I like looking for those. So in December, I posted that list, 10 debuts that I was really looking forward to. So this book released on February 23rd, 2016. So back in February, I never do this, you guys. I never pre-order and I never get a book on its release day unless I'm like, oh my God, I have to have this book. And I don't think I've ever done that before this book. Before this book, I had never done it. So on February 23rd, 2016, woke up and I knew I'm going to Barnes & Noble to get my copy of After the Woods. So woke up, got dressed, you know, wasted a little bit of time. I forget what time they opened on that day, but I went there right when they opened, went and looked in all the normal places, like the new release section, the teen section, the adult section, the thriller section. I was just looking everywhere. I was like, where's this book? Oh my goodness, do they have a special place for it? So I kept looking, and then finally I'm like, I can't find the book. So I went to customer service, as one does in Barnes & Noble, and I said, do you have a copy of After the Woods by Kim Savage? I'm having a hard time finding it. And the puzzled look on her face told me that, she has no idea what I'm talking about. And she looked it up and she said, we don't have that book. And I was like, well, it just came out today, so maybe you haven't put it out yet, or like, what are you talking about? You don't have it. Oh yeah, we don't have that book. I don't think we're gonna get it. Do you want to order it? And I'm like, no, I want it like now, like in my hand. Okay, thanks. She proceeds to tell me, oh, we didn't order it. I don't know when we'll get it. So I'm dumbfounded. I'm like, wow, this has never happened to me before. Okay. So I immediately go out to my car and I'm like on Twitter, like blowing up my phone, like saying, I can't believe they don't have this book. But I'm like, no worries. There's a Books A Million like 30 minutes away. Call them. They didn't get it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Called around all the places that I normally buy books in person and nobody got it. And that was just shocking to me. And it kind of opened my eyes, like how important it is, especially for debut authors, to like people to pre-order and stuff like that, because it shows booksellers that we want that book, that we're interested in that book and that author. So I was completely like, oh my gosh. But I was a college student at the time, so I didn't really have money to go out to the bookstore like a lot. I was going to like a lot of thrift stores and library book sales, and of course it's a new book, you know, I'm never going to get it there. Then I broke down and I was like, it was back when I got my Kindle. I don't remember exactly when, but I got my Kindle, and my first ebook purchase was After the Woods by Kim Savage. And as you guys know, I don't often read ebooks because I don't really get the same out of it, I don't think. I mean, I am getting better. I have leaps and bounds since I've gotten my Kindle. I've read quite a few titles in there, but I started it, but I just couldn't get into it because of the format. But I always had it, like it was mine. I had it in ebook form, but again, you can't see this beautiful cover on my Kindle. So every time I went to the bookstore, Barnes & Noble or just independent bookstores or like Target, Walmart, all the normal places that have books, I was always looking for this book and I could never find it. So I kind of just gave up on it, and I kind of put it on the back burner because I had already purchased it in ebook copy, and I figured one of these days I'll just order it off of Amazon. I know that's what you're screaming, just order it off of Amazon. And yes, I could have done that, but that's not the point of the story. So on September 21st of this year, just like last month, I made a post on my blog, a Waiting for Wednesday post. And a Waiting for Wednesday post is basically where you talk about upcoming books that you're excited about and you're waiting on them to come. And you're just like why you're excited and stuff like that. It's kind of like a little promo for the book, kind of at the same time of telling people like what you're looking forward to. And one of the books that I found that I was looking forward to is Beautiful Broken Girls. Author, Kim Savage. And at first, I have to be honest with you, I wasn't clicking the whole Kim Savage thing from this book and that book. I mean, another absolutely stunning cover. I will insert a picture for you. And the synopsis just like blew me away. It just, oh, it sounds so good. And I am absolutely waiting on it. Release date, February 2017. So got a little bit to go, a few more months. But yeah, so I randomly posted that, Waiting for Wednesday post. And I didn't tag the author or anything like that. I never do that. I like rarely tag authors in my blog posts. But lo and behold, went to work, came home, and opened up Twitter, and I had a couple of, messages. One of them, Kim Savage herself said to DM her, and I was like, oh my God, she saw my post. I was freaking out. I was so excited that not only had the author like randomly saw this blog post that I posted that I was looking forward to her book, but that she wanted me to DM her. So that was a little like, I was so excited and I was fangirling, but I was like, oh my God, what do I say? So I DM'd her and I just said, hi, yeah, I'm so excited about your book, and she was like, I'm so sorry that you've had such a hard time getting a physical copy of it. If you'd like, I could send you one of my author copies. And I was like, are you serious? Like I said, if you guys don't know, author copies are super rare, especially debut authors don't get a lot of copies of their books, and she gave me one of her personal author copies. I gave her my mailing address. So a week later, I got a bubble mailer in the mail, and I was thinking, awesome, I got book mail, and I'm like, looking, it says Savage, and it has like some random address, and I'm thinking, who is that? Is that my secret sister? Is it like a publisher? Like, what is it? Again, Savage was not clicking in my head for some reason. So I was like, okay, whatever. So I opened it up and oh my God, I had the book. Oh, I just loved it so much. And of course, like fangirls do, we go on Snapchat. So that's what I did. I went on Snapchat and I was just like, oh my God, you guys, check this out. This is so awesome. And then I posted a couple of pictures on Twitter thanking her, like, oh my God, thank you so much. So I finally had this in my hands. She sent me 4 bookmarks and they're just beautiful too. She also signed it. And it says, Gwendolyn, always read bravely, friend, yours, Kim. And oh my God, you guys. So at the time when I received this, I was still reading this Savage Song by Victoria Schwab, which I have already done a review of. So I will link that for you in the card section. But yeah, I was just like determined. I was like, after I finish this book that I'm currently reading, I'm jumping right into After the Woods, because I have been waiting far too long, like a year. I've been waiting a year for this book. So, I mean, with it already being released, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been out since February and it's September now and I'm just finally getting it. So I was super happy and I'm so thankful to Kim. That was so awesome of her. Seriously, guys, I can't wait to check out her next book, Beautiful Broken Girls. Now that I have read this book, I want to talk to you about it because it was pretty good. I was blown away. Like, this is a great debut, I think. So like I said, immediately after finishing this Savage Song, again, it will be linked for you, but I immediately picked this up. And as you can imagine, with all of the backstory now, I had pretty high expectations. Yes, I did. But I'm happy to say that I was not disappointed. I really enjoyed this book and I rated it 4 stars. So in After the Woods by Kim Savage, she did a really excellent job of telling the story of 2 friends that go through a horrible experience and kind of the aftermath after that. Like a year later, we're kind of seeing what's going on. So to give you a brief synopsis of what this is about, the story begins with 2 friends, Julia and Liv. They're running through the woods and Julia gets a little bit behind. Liv is on the ground and this guy is above her when Julia gets up to her and she fights off Liv's attacker and Liv runs off and then the captor catches Julia. So Liv gets away, the one that the guy originally had. The perpetrator's name is Jessup. So Jessup originally had Liv. She gets away, now he has Julia. And then this story picks up almost a year later, like what's going on with both of these girls. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, it's not really a spoiler, obviously, that Liz obviously got away and she's safe and fine. And Julia was held captive for 2 days and then she escaped. So both of the girls are okay. But what's happening almost a year later is in those same woods where the incident took place, another girl's body is found. So there is a kind of nosy reporter that's trying to dig up what happened, who did it, and there's a whole police versus Jessup thing kind of going on because the reporters are saying that the perpetrator was supposed to be either not on house arrest, but he was like on parole, so they should have been watching him anyway when all of this stuff went down. So the cops weren't doing their job according to this reporter. So this reporter is trying to get a story from Julia, like what happened and so forth. But at the same time, you're kind of seeing where Julia is now. Obviously, she's going through therapy, and I really appreciated that they showed that part where she is in therapy. And then Liv is kind of like off doing her own things. They don't seem to be the best of friends that they did before the incident took place, but because of the lack of backstory about their friendship, you're not really sure like how far apart they've grown. But Liv is dating this guy who's kind of like a loser or whatever, and she seems to be a totally different person to Julia now. So that's basically what the story is about. So there were a couple of negatives. Sometimes the foreshadowing was a little too blatant. There was I think it was 2 words that were said, and I was like, I know what's going on. Because those 2 words are so synonymous with that thing that you just like know it right off the bat. So as soon as I heard those 2 words or read those 2 words, I was like, yeah, that's one of the things at least that's going on. So sometimes the foreshadowing was a little bit too blatant, but other times it was like magically woven in and it fit in perfectly. Like I said, the friendship between Julia and Liv was a little bit lacking because one of the problems that I'm seeing is here Julia saved Liv's life. and now they're hardly speaking, and Liv doesn't seem appreciative or like thankful at all. Like if someone saved my life, or even not really my life, but 2 days of hell for all we know, like I'd be pretty appreciative. I'd be like, oh my God, you're my best friend for life type thing. So their backstory before, like they seem, I assumed from what I read that they were super close and now they weren't. So I didn't really get their backstory as friendships. You just kind of start right at the beginning where they're friends and they're going for this run, and then boom, it's a year later. So I really wanted a little bit more backstory. Reporter is trying to nab a story for the anniversary, and of course the body that shows up in the woods, she's curious about that as well. But the moments with the reporter are where Kim Savage shined. Like her writing during those reporter scenes, or when the reporter was involved, absolutely shined. And it totally makes sense because Savage is a former journalist herself. She's a business journalist. She got her master's in journalism, and so she's like a former reporter herself. So it totally makes sense that those are the moments that she really shined. And what also kind of clicked with me is I was recently watching Lainey's writing vlog. I think it was her September vlog. And she was saying like she's got all these projects that she's either worked on or wrote or you know, she is working on. And she's trying to think like, what story do I want to debut with? And when she said that, and then when I was thinking about doing this review, I said, you know what? That was really smart that Kim Savage chose this book to debut with, because she used to be you know, in journalism and reporting, and this is a really big part of this book. So it makes complete sense that she debuted with this. It's her really strong suit, and it just totally made sense to me. Mystery element, I wouldn't really say thriller, but the mystery element is kind of dropped in. Julia doesn't remember what happened, what transpired in those 2 days that Jessup had her. She doesn't really remember. So as she's kind of remembering or kind of piecing things together, you're learning that as well, along with the character. And then also, like I said, her and Liv don't seem to be as close. So you're like, what happened there? You know? So there's a little bit of mystery, but not anything too mysterious. There's also a slight romance, but I'm happy to say that it does not take over the plot line, it doesn't take over the story, and the characters are not defined by the romance. And the most puzzling thing to me, and you really don't get it to the end of the book, but even then you're kind of like, yeah, but she did that, but is why Liv doesn't seem more grateful. I just don't understand. I understand where Liv's coming from, like more now, but at the same time, I'm kind of like she did a pretty big thing. So Julia pretty much saved you from hell for 2 days. Like, why aren't you a little bit more grateful? I know you have your own thing going on, but really though. There was no huge plot twist or anything crazy like that, but the book did take a different direction than I was expecting, and I really enjoyed that. Again, I highly recommend this book for a debut because I really enjoyed it, and the author is such a sweetheart. So if you haven't had a chance already, go ahead and pick up your copy if you can find one. If not, order it on Amazon, of After the Woods by Kim Savage. Again, I really enjoyed this. I was pleasantly surprised, and with having those high expectations, I still really enjoyed it. So that's a big thumbs up for me. Thank you again to Kim for sending this to me. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait to read Beautiful Broken Girls. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed learning about like kind of the story behind me getting my hands on a copy and my review. Make sure if you've read it that you leave me your thoughts down in the comment section. If you want to read it, let me know that as well. Don't forget, I also have my 1K celebration giveaway going on where you can win a book of your choice from Amazon or Book Depository up to a $20 value, and that ends on October 31st, so that is right around the corner. But I'll see you again in my next video, guys. Bye!